Hey, so I am Coach D. I'm a budget coach and I help ambitious adults reach and exceed their financial goals while still enjoying life in the process. So if you are new to the channel, thank you for being here and stay tuned for much more. We go live every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern and we publish a video every Friday at 6 a.m. Eastern. Today we're going to be discussing budgeting myths. A lot of times we tell ourselves things, or sometimes we even hear things that aren't actually true, and we believe them, or we believe that they could be true, or someone, is very insistent on it being true, and then it's something we stick to, and it's not actually true. So we're going to uncover a couple of those today. Let's start with this one. This is one that I hear quite often. Once you have a budget, you're stuck with that budget. And that is not true. Once you have a budget, you work that budget, you give that budget time to actually work. You work it, you adjust it, you see if, this is the budget for you. If in fact you discover it's just not working out, this budget is not working for me, it's not giving me any success, I'm not making any progress, and it's not me not working the budget, it's actually the budget is just not compatible with me and my lifestyle, then you can try a different type of budget or adjust the budget that you're working with. Maybe you made small adjustments, maybe you need to make different types of adjustments. And then, because budgets, you're supposed to be flexible with them. If you have $50 aside every pay for eating out or, or maybe buying lunch, whatever it is you do, and $50 just isn't enough. If you have, room in your budget, wiggle room, then you can change it to $75 and try $75 and see if that works. If 75 doesn't work, then you will try 100 and see if that works. Now, if your budget financially can't afford any extra, then you have to make adjustments and make that 50 work. Another budgeting myth I hear is you don't have to have a budget. You're not in debt. A budget is not simply for people who are in debt. A budget is for people who have goals that they have set, whether it is to build savings or to buy something. Maybe it's a larger purchase where necessarily you don't have all of that money at one time, so you need to build it up. You need to create a fund to maybe buy that house, pay for that wedding, buy that car, go on that vacation. So no, your budget isn't necessarily for debt. Maybe you want to avoid debt. Maybe you're planning for your retirement. Maybe you are someone, maybe you have a lot of money and you want to ensure that when you stop working that with a smaller income coming in, you still can afford to live the same way. It's not, budgeting is not just for people who have debt. Another myth I've heard is you can't have a budget or budgeting is impossible if you have irregular income, and that is also a myth. You can have a budget if your income is not the same every check and it just fluctuates, and sometimes it's up, sometimes it's down. With the right tools and the right skills and just sticking with it, you can budget and your budget can be successful. You just have to be able to balance it out and get the correct average. Maybe you have income where maybe you're working, maybe 1 week you work 5 days, and 1 week you work 4 days, the next week you work 5 days, the next week you work 4 days. So yes, it's irregular, but there is still a pattern. A lot of people who work irregular hours, there is still some sort of a pattern. Maybe you work different days a week or different amounts of time in the weeks, but it's probably has some similarity as far as the amount of hours, even if it's the same every other week. That can still be managed in your budget as long as you have the correct tools. And what you would simply do is to just monitor, if I know that I'm having extra in this check and less in this check, and then I know again I'm going to have extra and then I'm going to have less, and I know when I make my bill schedule about how am I going to pay my bills and when I'm going to pay my bills, I know that I have to pay extra bills on this check and a smaller amount of bills on this check. So it still can work because I'm managing for the month. I'm not managing for the check. And that's a lot of times where people get mixed up because they're thinking they're managing for the actual check when you're managing for the entire month. Another myth I sometimes hear is I've reached my financial goal and I'm done budgeting. I don't have to budget anymore. Now I can live my life and do what I want, enjoy myself. When that is not the case, because you will want to continue to budget so you can maintain that goal, whatever that goal might have been, whether it was to reach a certain savings amount. Once you reach it, if you stop budgeting completely, then you won't be managing your money anymore, and then you'll overspend, and then you'll have to pull from that savings. So budgeting is important because you don't quit once you reach your goal. You use your budget to maintain that or build to exceed even higher than what your goal was and set a new goal and reach that goal. So those were just a few budgeting myths that I've heard. I've heard more, but those are just a few that I'm sharing today. Tune in to our next video. If you're just tuning in, there's more videos to see. Definitely go back and watch the replay. If you aren't subscribed, subscribe so you'll be alerted to all of our lives and all of our new videos. And if you're someone who's on your budgeting journey and needs some accountability, I invite you to join my financial accountability group, where we hold you accountable, we mentor you in different areas, and we challenge you to grow. We would love to have you. Visit the link below the video to learn more about it. I'll see you next video.